What's up, everybody? This is Brad from the Rules of Villainy podcast, or as you may know me, the Mayor of Lorcana. It is the end of the week, which means it is time for another local meta report out of St. Louis, Missouri, where each and every week we showcase the latest and greatest in Disney Lorcana competitive decks and the great players and stores we have in the community supporting this great game. The set championships are just around the corner, believe it or not. So these 7 decks are probably decks that you want to be on the lookout for, especially if you're local here. So take a look at these and let's dive into it. All right, our first deck of the day is a Amethyst Emerald Diablo deck, Birds by Brit at Grapes Games on Saturday. We were lucky enough to get to stream a single elimination hero enchanted event, and this is the deck that took it all down. Brit took this deck to the finals. You can watch actually the stream on our channel. I will link that below, and I think she was featured twice actually, in a mirror match and in a Emerald Steel discard match in the finals. Spoilers if you didn't want to know that, but this is the deck that won it, so you know that you're going to see it on the stream. It is a problematic deck. I've been up against it twice, not against Brit, who of course definitely piloted it well here, but against Kirsten, who is the mirror match in the stream. And it is a lot to deal with. You got the new Diablo. You thought Diablo was bad. How about we just put 12 of them in the deck? You know, not 12, 16 Diablos in the deck. That's very much a big bird deck. You got your crabs and your foxes for control, crab to beef up your evasives. This evasive challenger Diablo is a real pain in the neck. And then the standard discard package of Prince John, only running 2 of them, Hypnotize, Sudden Chill. We don't talk about Bruno. The Iago is making his way into a lot of decks right now with his 4/6 body and evasive. Just makes him such a threat. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see the Peter Pan Shadow Finder finding a few spots in this deck in the future, just to give this bird rush and any other evasive card in this deck, which is a lot of them. So she didn't need it here. Maybe in the future as the meta evolves. I don't know. But congratulations to Brittany. All right, our second deck of the day is Blurple, one of my favorite decks of all time. This is Mitchell, who didn't get to make the cut last week with his 3-0 at Grapes. I was not able to get a hold of him with his Sapphire Steel before the big ban, but now he's on Blurple, as a lot of people are after the Hiram ban, and he ran it well at Grapes Games on Sunday during League, going 3-0 with my favorite deck. It's pretty standard in the Blurple package. We are seeing the Bell package being utilized a lot. It's interesting he's not running the shift line. That is something that I'm doing currently. But what I'm not doing and should probably start thinking about is what I just alluded to in the last video, the last deck, where Peter Pan's Shadow Finder is now in this deck, as well as that Iago for that big boost. We already have the evasives of Genie, Iago now, Elsa, who doesn't need the rush because she already has it. But giving that Iago just a big swing on turn is fantastic. That 4 strength coming out and a 6 body to probably last another turn. Was what's hitting for 6 unless you're running it into a Maui. That Iago is coming out with rush and taking care of basically anything that you have exerted. I love it so much. And he brought this to a 3-0 at Grapes. So curious to see how Blurple continues to evolve. But right now, this looks like the version that is on top, at least locally. Congratulations to Mitchell. Another 3-0 at Grapes Games on Sunday was Ryan with an Amber Steel deck. I almost said Steel Song, but if you're not running Ariel, it's not Steel Song to me. This is a curved deck, aggro deck version, a Diggy without the Diggy, if you will. He is running the songs, of course, of Storm and Strength. The Storm helps with draw, Strength helps with removal, as you're just getting these low to the ground characters on board. That Strength gets more and more powerful, and a couple whole new worlds for the desperate hand refresh if he needs it. Of course, you got the draw with Rapunzel, as you do in almost any Amber deck, because that card is just so good. But yeah, it looks like a really fun deck. The day before at the event, the hero event that I talked about, he was running a version of this with Bolt, and it looks like he switched it up the next day and found better success, going 3-0 with this one. You got the recurring Lilo. Daisy's always a solid number 1 drop, because who's going to deal with her on turn one, right? She's lasting at least a turn, and then curving all the way up to Bagheera at 5, a card that I really, really like. I haven't got to play as much at this point, but would like to. With Grab Your Sword on Banish. It is a very, very cool card and looks like it's doing him well in this Amber Steel build. So congratulations to Ryan. All right, moving on to Tuesday at the collector store. Justin went 3-0 with the damn Burb and Emerald Steel discard deck. Likely the same, if not very close to the deck that I referred to earlier playing Brit in the Hero Tournament. He took it to 3-0 Tuesday night, and it looks like the Emerald Steel discard that we know and don't really love to sit across from, but we have to respect its success. We saw it win 2 North American DLCs here, and it's looking like it's primed to be back up in the meta again. The new cards that I can see here are the 2-cost Helga, which I think is a really good choice for any early evasive threats like the Diablo, like a mirror match, for example. She's a 2-cost uninkable 0/4, but she has Challenger 3 and she's evasive on turn. So she's a little bit difficult to get rid of, being she's a 4 body. So she sticks around a little bit and threatens your board, whether it's an evasive or not. And then the Space Pirate Pete on the 6. It doesn't look like he has the shift line for it. That unless I'm mistaken, but when that Pete comes out and he's exerted, all pirate characters, including the Smee, if you get a late game Smee, have resist, and he stops cards from exerting to sing songs. He's busting through that door and saying, "No singing tonight." Really cool deck. I'm interested to see how much it sticks around, just because the meta looks really, really healthy right now. So, yeah, very, very cool deck. Congratulations to Justin. I'm sure we'll be seeing you again with, if not this deck, another one very, very soon. All right, moving on to Manticore Game Shop in O'Fallon, Missouri. Their league on Thursday night. Teammate Megan went 3-0 with an Amethyst Steel that was definitely net decked from the Articast by LD. She decided to check out their deck and see how it feels. She wasn't so keen on the Robin Hood package, but having him early and Calhoun to just challenge and control and get lore while doing it doesn't seem like a bad strategy at all. It looks like it curves right into your draw with Genie and control, a little bit more control with Elsa. You can bounce the goat, you can Pete and repeat. It seems pretty good. I haven't played, the only Amethyst Steel that I play is Jafar Wheel, so this is a little bit different from what I'm used to doing, but she found success with it. She told me her matchups were a Blurple Triton location deck that I thought was good. It would be so cool to look at, but I could not get a hold of the player to feature at the end of this video. But it includes the legendary Triton, so that every time, or every location you have in play, a character's strength is reduced by 1. And she said that it gave her trouble with fairy ships and queen's castles and whatever else that they got on the board. But very fascinated with that deck. She also played with the Sapphire Steel Wheel and Ruby Ami Evasive, which I am very surprised is not on this list this week, given the success that we saw with it getting second place at Battle Bear this past weekend. But she found success with this one, and curious to see if she continues to play it or different versions of this come up in the weeks to come. So congratulations to Megan. All right, moving on to the other league on Thursday nights is Bodach's Games. Reckless went 3-0 with his OG deck, the deck that I met him on, Steel Song, Amber Steel. Sing a song, LOL, he named it, because he knows when these characters start singing, you're in trouble. The new cards from set 7 that he's included, he is splitting the 2-drop of the Troubadour with the common Vanessa that has taken over that spot for the most part. If you don't have Smee out there, whether you're taking the singing approach or the aggro approach, either Troubadour or Vanessa are troublesome. Being able to both sing that Along Came Zeus for whatever you may have ramped to before he can get there. So pretty standard steel song here. The only other set 7 card he included is this Bianca, 6 cost Bianca, but usually comes out on 4 because you have allies to be on board to make her cost 2 less. I do love the big Cindy in place of what has been recently a lot more of the Sonic Warrior. I would give or take either one of those. I think they're both great cards, both 2 of my favorite cards for this deck, or just in general. But yeah, looks like he is already finding success with his OG deck from set 1, and curious to see how it evolves from now and set championships, what deck he falls on. So congratulations to Ron. And the final deck of the week is back at the collector store. We have Ruby Amethyst going 3-0 by the one and only Rudros. And he didn't even modify it into the big evasive package that Ruby Amethyst has developed into in the past week. He took his old reliable, the deck he's always been on, singing about even on his channel, and said, you know what? We're going to get it done my way. And he did. He brought back his fish hook. He slotted in a new Peter Pan, not a new Peter Pan. He brought back Peter Pan for a little extra rush and evasive, and he got it done. His matchups tonight were Chernadogs. He went 2-0. He played a Bend to My Will Baja deck and went 2-1. And then his finals match against Justin, who we talked about just previously on Emerald Steel Discard, was back on Sapphire Ruby Shark and still found a way to get it done. So he's running the locations. He's got some hard control with the Dragonfire. Of course, one Lady Tremaine, which surprises me. This deck used to be riddled with Tremaines and Madame Medusas, but he's proving he doesn't need all of those. The Queen is probably one of my favorite cards in this set, the Jealous Beauty Queen. I talked about it a little bit on the podcast this week. I like her inclusion. I don't know that you need more than one. It is very niche, but you're probably most of the time going to tag a princess for that extra lore. But 3 lore even is just a lot of lore, and she hits for 4 for anybody who wants to challenge into her if you can't ready her up or get or bounce her back. So very cool deck. Very happy to see it being successful again. With everything that's happened in the game in the past week with the bans and the meta shifting once again, nobody's questioning if Ruby Amethyst is sidelined anymore. It is still very much alive, and Travis proved it tonight. So congratulations to Travis. It's really kind of poetic that Travis did go 3-0 tonight, and I got to talk about him last in this video because hopefully next week, I don't want to promise it because I'm not the one doing it, but today, the same day that he went 3-0, we recorded something together, and I'm really excited about how it turns out. I only know my pieces of it, but I have an idea of how it's going to be produced into everything else when it does come out, and I'm really excited to see how it turns out because it's really creative and really, really fun. So I'm going to link to his channel below and hope that you all check it out as well. And yeah, please do that. And regarding this, that is it for this video. I appreciate you guys checking this out. I hope you found something interesting about the decks, or if you have any concerns or comments about the decks, please put them in the comments below because I know all of these players and they will be more than happy to answer your questions or take any kind of criticism that you have about the decks or ideas and modifying them and such. So, but I do this because I enjoy doing it. I do it because I hope you enjoy it as well. And if you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications because we're going to be doing all kinds of new stuff outside of the show proper. And speaking of the show, please check that out. We put a lot of effort and a lot of love into that show. We just did our 41st episode since starting this in July, and we couldn't be happier with doing this for you. So thank you for tuning in, and until next time, keep on questing.